Hi, my name is Mike Stenta. I'm the lead developer of farmOS, and this is just a summary of the changes in the recent farmOS release 7.x-1.0-beta11. So I'm going to share my screen here. So we did a couple of cool things in this release. It's a pretty small release, but a couple of neat features have been added. The first is area calculation. So this has been on the list for a little while now. So now whenever you click on an area that you have in your farmOS, it will calculate the acreage or square footage of that area. So you can see of this large field, it's 118.99 acres. And then of this much smaller building down here, it's 2,000 square feet. So for smaller areas, it'll use square feet, and for larger areas, it'll use acreage. Part of this feature was also a new module called the farm quantity module. And this sort of is the first introduction of some actual settings for the default quantity configuration for your farm. So you can actually switch between metric and imperial or US measurements, and that will affect what you see in these calculated areas. So if I refresh now, it'll show me in hectares what the large area is, and the small area will be shown in square meters. So that's pretty cool. In addition to that, you'll notice too that this area details pop-up that comes up when you click on the area is going to be a lot more specific now. Previously, it gave you quick links to everything within an area, but it didn't check first to see what was in the area. It just kind of gave some fast links. Now it will actually summarize what's in there, so you can see how many activities you've logged there, or observations, or the assets that you have there, such as equipment or plantings. So it gives you a nice summary. And just as a background thing, you'll notice that it kind of loads the name first, and then the rest of this kind of jumps in afterwards. That's just a little bit of smart code running in the background there to lazy load that information whenever you click on an area. So rather than kind of loading all of that up with every area you have every time you load a map, it waits until you actually click on something. So small performance improvement that will make a difference on larger farms that have lots and lots of areas. One of the other changes is I increased the maximum zoom limit. So now, as you get closer, you'll notice that the background will disappear and you'll just see a gray area. This is so that you can actually zoom in farther than Google Maps allows. It's not perfect yet. There's still a couple of small issues with it, but as long as you've got your areas there, it will allow you to kind of get in there. So we're going to try to improve on that moving forward. But for smaller farms that are doing stuff on much smaller scale or need the finer grain detail, that'll come in handy. One of the other big features in Beta 11 is the area generator. So if you go to areas and then click on this area generator field link, you'll see a new tool for mass generating sub areas within parent areas. So the main use case for this is filling up a field with beds. So imagine you've got a long field, and here I'll actually go ahead and just create one right now. So I'm going to say add an area and say test field. And this is going to be of type field. And let's just let's put that over. Let's put that over here for now, because it's sort of a smaller area. Let's say that I wanted to start some vegetable beds in this area, and I want to divide it up into beds that I can then have my rows in. And this is kind of a complicated area, but I want to, I just want to make as many beds as I can fit into there. So I'll save that. Now, if I go to the area generator tool, The general concept here is that you're going to first select the area that you're going to fill. So I'll select that test field that I created. Then you select what type of area you want to fill it with. In most cases, it will be bed, but I did design this as a general tool so that you could theoretically make an area filled with any other type of area too. Then you'll say how many beds you want to fill it with. So let's say for this one, I want to put 20 beds. And then the orientation is going to be a number between 0 and 180 for essentially, what orientation the beds run in relative to north-south. So east and west is equivalent to, so it explains it here. Areas running east-west would have an orientation of 0 or 180, while areas running north-south would have an orientation of 90. So you can just kind of figure it out from there. So for this one, just to show you what that looks like, I can preview with 0. And so this is what it'll look like. It'll basically just try to fill in the area with the number of beds that you outlined here. So I want my beds to kind of run this way. So it's not going to be quite a 0 orientation. Instead, I think I want to, well, just to show, here's what 90 would look like. So then that would be going that way. So let's try like 100 or 110. Yep, still pretty far off. So I'm going to say 200. I'll say 160. Okay, that's getting pretty close. So let's try 170. Yeah, that's pretty close. So 180 would put me all the way there. I'm gonna say 170. Maybe even a little bit less than that, 165. Or no, sorry, a little bit more than that. You can really hone it in if you want. Eventually, I think I'll turn this into a little slider so you don't have to type in the number or figure out what it'll be, and you'll kind of just see it go. So see how I've kind of lined them up with that bottom edge now. So now that'll generate all those areas. So if I click generate, it'll give me this message, 20 areas were generated. And you can't see it right now, but as I zoom in, and this is another new feature, they'll appear. So beds right now the bed layer here will automatically be visible at zoom levels of 18 or greater. So you can see if I zoom out, now I'm not at, I might be at zoom 17 or something. So let's zoom in one click. So now I'm in zoom level 18 and you can see the bed layer turned on. You could also, as you're zoomed out, you can also just come in and click this to turn it on. But as soon as you zoom, it will change to kind of be the default. But so you can see now too, this is where the being able to zoom farther than Google Maps comes in handy, because when you're working on the bed scale and things are pretty small, you're going to want to be able to get in there. So that's pretty cool, and that really helps for vegetable operations that are doing a lot of small fields filled with beds. And this is sort of the first step towards developing a crop planning tool that will allow you to automatically fill in beds with the crops that you plan to plant. So that will be in a coming release. Yeah, so that kind of sums up the new features of Beta 11. There's a lot of other little changes, bug fixes, and smaller features and stuff. So if you're interested in all the details, just go to farmOS.org and you'll see in the news section, farmOS Beta 11 has been released, and there's links to all the various sub-module release notes on there. So yeah, give it a try, and good luck. Happy farming.